welcome. I'm Nidhi Kumar, and today we share a common dream of futuristic India with a more scientific, automated and healthy lifestyle. The Government of India in its Union Budget 2019 has focused on e-mobility, which has the capacity to address the complexity of the 21st century challenges in society regarding the ease of transportation and a pollution-free India with contagious enthusiasm and vigor. India is one of the key signatories of the Paris Climate Agreement 2016 and will need to reduce emission level by 25% by 2030. Surprised? Here we are talking about the role of electric mobility products and mobility for the disabled as one of the key solutions to reduce carbon emissions for our better future through a green, eco-friendly mode of transportation called Hoverboard E-mobility, the way forward future of mobility. तो आइए आधुनिकता को अपनाते हैं, सपनों को पंख लगाते हैं, आओ मिलकर हम और आप एक नया भारत बनाते हैं. We have two very interesting guests with us today. I first welcome with us the founder of Hoverboard in India, Munish Jindal. बहुत स्वागत आपका. Welcome to our program. And we also have with us today Garg, who is the CEO of Billionables and working towards specially abled in India. बहुत स्वागत आपका. तो पहला सवाल मैं आपसे करूंगी मनीष जी. Tell us what hover robotics is. I want to ask you, and for all our viewers, hover क्या चीज है? Hoverboard क्या चीज है?
Hoverboard is basically a futuristic technology that we have brought to India. We are the pioneers of that. We launched it back in 2015. Hoverboard is basically making you hover on a board, making you fly on a board, and this is an e-mobility solution that we're bringing with a vision, with a broader vision in India to make Indian environment very eco-friendly and green. It's an electric device. You just charge it and commute on it. We are trying to replace the cars, bikes, and that run on the fuel like diesel and petrol. We don't want to use that. We just want to give a cleaner and greener India to all the upcoming generations. And
where did you get this concept from? And it was never in India. You brought it to India, right? So it's something like a larger version of a skating board, something like that. It appears to be like that. It has wheels, it has electric charging devices, and it also thinks, and it's somewhat got some kind of artificial intelligence to it. So where did you get this concept in mind, and how did you bring it to India is my question.
See, they say that travel far and wide. Then travel gives you so much. Travel gives you enjoyment as well, and it gives you the exposure. I was traveling to one of the countries where I saw that product, and I was like, oh, it's not in India. And then I thought of launching it to India, and people said that it won't be acceptable, and I took it as a challenge, and I saw the opportunity.
So which country are you talking about? Australia, UK?
Yes, I was in Australia. Like I have studied there as well, so I saw it there, and then I took that challenge as an opportunity, and I thought of bringing down to India. And it's a totally futuristic device. We launched it in India, and it has nothing to do with the skating, because skating takes too much time to learn, and the learning curve for this is just 2 minutes. Anyone from the age range of 4 years onwards can ride it. You can ride it on any surface, maybe it's a road or a grass or a park, up hills. It can even go up hills, downhill, anywhere you feel like. It's a very wonderful device, and it moves with your thinking. You just stand on it, think to move. You know, if you how it moves with your thinking is like.
We'll ask you that a little later. How do you like this concept of hover robotics if we talk of specially abled, since you're working so much on this field of assistive technology?
Yeah, so it seems to be a really interesting concept because most of the specially able people have mobility restriction. So if they are using manual wheelchairs, they have to push it a lot. Even if they are using automated wheelchairs, they have to go through a lot of problems, stress.
And so somebody has to be with them 24/7.
But if there is something some sort of wheelchair which can be which will go on through sensors. So if the weight of the body is pushed forward, then it will automatically run. So it will be very convenient for them so that they can easily navigate
coming to you, Munish, have you ever tried it on specially abled? Is there an example that you would perhaps like to share with us?
Yes, we're already working on that. What we have done is we have already worked with specially able people. We came across this gentleman. He, by birth, he has his legs folded. He couldn't even crawl. So we have made a hover cart. It's a very tiny portable wheelchair, as Samir has rightly portrayed, that if the human weight can be put on the sensors, and it automatically pushes. So that is what we have done. We make you sit in that. It's a very tiny portable wheelchair, whereby the control comes in your hands, and you just maneuver on it. And now that guy who couldn't even crawl is called as the man on wheels, and he is able to maneuver inside his home as well as outside. He's going to his office on them, and he's very happy. And then, taking his example forward, we have worked on a number of specially able people through our hoverboards and our hover carts.
What have you seen, Samir, if I ask you now, in specially abled people? Is there some kind of a resistance that they have to these kind of devices, or they're very happy because they don't need somebody to, be with them all the time, guiding them, chaperoning them, something like that? So are they very receptive to such like futuristic technologies?
Absolutely, because those people who have mobility restrictions, they want to be independent. One of the issues in Indian context is that the facilities are not accessible. So if such devices are available widely and economically, so they will be more than willing to purchase such devices, because it's a part of life for them. Just like we use specs or we use other devices, so it's a part of their body. So if those devices are available in India, they are more than receptive, and they are looking forward to these devices. And with the economic growing and the purchasing power is within their limits, so there are a lot of customers, and I think the corporates and startups should tap this opportunity, and they should launch more devices in India.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're going in for a short break. Stay with us. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about hover robotics as soon as we get back.
DD National पर
वेलकम बैक। हम बात कर रहे हैं ई मोबिलिटी डिवाइसेस की, होवर रोबोटिक्स द वे फॉरवर्ड। हमारे साथ स्पेशल मेहमान, तो बात करूंगी मैं आपसे मुनीश जी। Tell us now, what are the kind of challenges that you faced when you got hover robotics to India? Challenges as in funding.
See, challenges as in funding is the very first. It's a pretty new concept. It's from the future. So people don't accept it. Not only the acceptance, they don't understand. It's not their fault. So we had to create awareness about it.
Which was in which year?
We launched it in 2015. So what we did was, we opened a few of these devices. I used to do the road shows. I stand at the side of a road, and I used to say, people, try them. And then that built the excitement.
Free?
Yes, free, totally free. Just enjoy these mobility robots. And then we used to make the videos, and we used to make them viral. So that spread the word. That got us viral.
That's lovely kind of startup funding that you're talking about. And did you manage to get the finances to make the system? Because a lot of effort and manpower goes into making it.
Yes, the thing is, what I believe in, if you have an idea within you, and if you're determined about it, and you're willing to work for it, it is going to be successful. So we worked hard. I never looked for a funding, because I had an idea. When I was sure, I was confident enough that I'm going to make it successful, I pulled in my own money, a bit of whatever I had. I started making them, and then immediately what we did, we bootstrapped our startup, and we started selling them. And for whatever revenue started pouring in, I started pouring back it into my startup. I reduced my own expenses as well, and now I proudly say that's a self-funded startup. Now we are not looking for funding.
Absolutely. If I ask you, Samir, about e-mobility for specially abled, what are the devices that really come to your mind?
If we talk about e-mobility, there are a lot of devices at the airport globally, where people can be committed through one point to other point, and which are electronically automated.
You're talking about international airport, New Delhi, or all the airports?
I'm talking about international airports, not in India, globally. So there are some devices which can be brought to India. So they have introduced some devices, but they are very expensive. That's why it cannot be applied widely to all the air settings.
The entire spectrum.
Similarly, if you talk about railways, platforms are inaccessible. So if you can brought some wheelchair lifts or devices through which people can automatically get transferred to the trains, so that will be very helpful. Similarly, there are wheelchair accessible cabs in various cities in India, but again, they are all petrol or diesel based, so there are a lot of carbon emissions. So what we are planning to launch a fleet of such wheelchair accessible cabs in Delhi NCR, and we are planning to go for electric vehicles. Even if they are not totally electric, we can have a battery fitted electric vehicle, modified vehicle. A lot of people go for adaptive vehicles where they modify the vehicles because they might have problem in operating the vehicle due to their mobility restriction, either of a hand or a leg. So they get it modified. So while modification, if those vehicles can be fitted with an electric battery, so that will serve two purposes. It will make them accessible. Also, it will help reducing carbon emissions.
Very correct that you're saying that. And next to the future technology guy. So Munish, if I ask you now, in the health sector, you focused a lot on the health sector. So what has e-mobility got to do with health?
See, the very first thing is e-mobility itself is the answer. E-mobility means electric mobility. Electric mobility means we are going to cut down the pollution. If there won't be a pollution, imagine the kind of lifestyle we'll have.
How did you do it in Ludhiana? I believe you stopped a lot of traffic at congested roads.
No, yes, exactly right. What we did was, by taking the city mayor in confidence, we proposed them that whatever the most congested areas in our city are, they shall be permanently closed for the vehicles. They shall only be accessible either by walk or on the hoverboards. And we did that twice. Once in a month, what we do, we shut down the entire roads. They are not accessible by the cars or by the bikes. You can either come walking or on hoverboards, and that was successful. In one single day, we had a footfall of 15,000 people, and we all did it on hoverboards.
Samir, if I ask you, you just mentioned railways. What about buses? When we board a bus, it's not very easy, is it, for a specially abled person to kind of board a bus, because he cannot climb up, he needs that support, and those kind of sliding boards are not available at times, perhaps. So what are you doing about that?
So there is a provision of a wheelchair lift which can be fitted in a vehicle, through which the person can, the wheelchair will go on the lift, and the lift will automatically take the wheelchair up to the vehicle.
So this should be in every bus, right?
It should be in every bus. The problem is the technology is costly because right now it's imported. Some companies have already started making it locally in India. So the cost will come down within a number of years. Similarly, as Munish mentioned, that hoverboard can be used in corporates. Similarly, there are wheelchair lifts which can transfer a person from stairs to
that I've seen. That's very interesting.
In some temples like Siddhivinayak, there are some lifts installed where if person has a mobility restriction, he can just sit on the lift and it will take him directly up.
It has also been launched very recently in the Venkateshwar Tirupati Balaji temple, which is the richest temple in the world. So Munish, coming to you now, tell us about the kinds of hoverboards. You know, Robotrons, mobility bots, what are these? Tell us the difference.
We have various kinds of hoverboards, right from the hoverboard or Robotron or a mobility boat. The difference is, like, again, it's like we buy cars. We buy small cars, compact cars, bigger cars, SUVs. So same is the difference. We have a basic hoverboard where you just stand, think and move. Then we have a hoverboard with a bigger wheels, like if you want an off-roading hoverboard, right? We have a bigger wheelbase, a broader wheelbase. And then we have automated technology as well. Earlier the hoverboards, we need to balance them by standing on them. Now recently as we are innovating, we changed the technology. It's called automated one. So as soon as you turn on the hoverboard, it balances itself. You just stand and go. Then we have even bigger one that's called a mobility boat. You just stand and it has a pneumatic tires and it can be used on any terrain, more stable, with a bigger battery life as well. See, when we are talking about these devices, we have to work on the battery life as well. How long they're going to run in one single charge. So the bigger one, you can go for, say, 20 kilometers in one go. That's a good distance if you're commuting locally. So, and now we are coming up with the more of the greater and bigger versions of that.
Oh, great. But I want to also understand from you, supposing you said that the hoverboard thinks by the mind or some kind of an intelligence it uses. So supposing I have it in my mind that I will go and, hit the wall, will that happen?
No, it won't. See, but the thing is, the hoverboard works on your body reflexes. Whatever we think, there is a kind of a reflex that happens in our body. Then through that reflex it moves. When we think to go forward, there would be a reflex in our feet. So that reflex in the feet will take it forward. When we think of going left or right, the leg's weight ratio changes. It senses that weight ratio. But when you will think of going or banging someone, your subconscious won't allow and it won't go that way.
And how many seconds does it take to think and change?
It can sense 200 reflexes per second. It's a very intelligent device.
That means if I want to move right, it will sense that.
It will sense even,
and if I
even before
suddenly
you think.
decide to take a U-turn, it will sense that.
It will sense even before you think. That's how that quick it is.
What is the kind of artificial intelligence now that you feel you need for specially abled?
As Munish just mentioned that hoverboard can sense the body movement, and it helps in taking it forward. Similarly, there are a lot of people who cannot control their body, and there are some technology abroad through which through the sensors they can move the mouse of the computer. Or
Supposing there is a person who is specially abled, who's only able to use part of their legs.
Right.
Hands are also,
right,
crouched in a different position. So how does that person use the sensor? Is my question.
So if the sensors, if the bodies, if the mind can be studied through sensors, and whatever he's thinking, that can be implemented. Suppose someone is on a wheelchair and he don't have the use of his hands, and he just think that, okay, I have to move my wheelchair forward. The sensors can sense his bodily movement through his mind, and automatically the wheelchair will start moving.
So Munish is smiling. I'm sure he's got an answer, and it is doable. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more of robotics in just a moment. Welcome back. और हम बात कर रहे हैं hover robotics and e-mobility, the way forward. Munish ji, आपसे जानना चाहूंगी. I have noticed each of us, and this is a fact that I am saying, is in a terrible hurry. Whether it's a traffic jam, whether we're going anywhere, do we even bother to see that there is a specially abled person who might need our assistance? Either we are busy texting on our phones, or we are busy talking to somebody. We have no time. So that lifestyle change needs to be brought about, especially at the school level, by conducting these kind of workshops where children are sensitized. For example, I'm saying Swachh Bharat, all of us agree, a lot of sensitization has taken place by the government. Shauchalay pehle, Devale baad mein. There's a lot of things that this government has been doing. Similarly, on that note, how do you feel that disabled-friendly technology can be brought to use by inculcating these kind of habits in children?
Absolutely, because if we see the person is not disabled, the infrastructure may make him disabled. So first of all, we have to inculcate these things in the children from very early stage. So if we start sensitizing in the curriculum itself, that this is a community and it is all part of us, because everyone see this in their homes also. Even their elderly grandparents or parents, they are also disabled in some way, in one way or another. And really what Munish has mentioned that they are self-balancing bikes. So it's a very interesting concept, and definitely I will be the first customer to purchase it when it will be launched in India.
And also Munish, you mentioned about motorbikes. Read somewhere that there are already flying cars launched in Dubai. But my question to you now is, since you are also preparing a lot of futuristic devices, we'll come to that later. But tell me, if you have airspace also, you have cars which are flying, and then you have aircrafts which are landing, what is the kind of, turmoil that will happen upstairs?
No, there won't be any kind of turmoil. Take it this way, like when we ride cars on the roads, we have those traffic signals, right? They manage the traffic. Same way, there are air controllers as well. There is a proper air traffic management in the air. They're proper on the air frequency. They can talk, they can see each other, who is flying
but
where.
But that's for aircraft. For cars, they'll probably have car traffic management.
No, see, there is inbuilt GPS system in the air as well. In air it's called nautical miles, and that nautical miles, they also have an air route as well. Don't take it this way that if we are flying in the sky, we can just fly anywhere. No, in the air also proper route is being followed, right? So that there is a designated route for each and every aircraft, or in the future when the cars
so now
would
that
come.
they've launched it in Dubai, is there a specific route that has been chartered for these cars?
No, see, in Dubai, what they have done a trial run of couple of the cars. They are still in the concept stage. They have done a trial run. The trial run has been successful. So in the future, how they charter their airspace, one good point about Dubai is every building is equipped with a helipad, Right. So they can land their cars on top of those buildings. Again, it comes to your previous question where you rightly asked me about the infrastructure. We lack that kind of infrastructure. So we need to have a futuristic approach in everything that we do in life, whether it's building roads or constructing our buildings. Then we would be very easily future equipped. Like me and Samir, we are bringing these technologies to India. We are working big time and we will keep working.
And how do you think the vision of hover robotics is going to be, say, in the next 20 years? What are your target areas?
Target areas, our main target area is the vision where we think is providing a cleaner, greener India, pollution-free India. That is what, because the future is all about e-mobility. India is getting big, the entire world is getting big time, and India is going to do huge in this field. So where we projecting hover robotics in another 20 years or maybe 10 years down the line, we are even making flying hoverboards where you can fly on your own board, right? We are totally going to cut down the use of petrol and diesel or anything that sort of. We are going to bring in electric and more portable solutions. Not only, see, we don't only have to think about the pollution. But
what about drones?
Drones are coming. Drones are coming big time. And if you talk about...
And a drone gets stuck in the air somewhere because
no,
of
see,
wire?
Again, it comes how we fly it. If we know how to maneuver it, like you are driving a car, if you know how to bypass the potholes or the broken road, the same is true for the drones. If we know how to fly, we can bypass that, and drones have huge applicability in terms of delivery. Now, even the drones are coming that are going to pick stuff from one place to port it to another place. Third, the biggest point about drone is think the aid of drone in the medical sector. Say you need blood in emergency at certain place. Ambulance cannot reach, roads are congested. A drone with the packet of or a bottle of a blood flying from one place.
Yes.
Immediate. Yes.
What about you? What is the vision for specially abled in the next 10 years, say?
So as we mentioned that there is a lot of opportunities in India where a lot of products can be developed and marketed easily. So we are planning to conduct a series of hackathon and makeathon where we will be developing these products and marketing it locally so that more people have reach and they can easily purchase it. So Munish and me are already working on it, and hopefully within a couple of months we will be seeing a new series of
you'll be out
devices.
with your hackathon. And on that very pragmatic note, thank you for joining us today, and I wish you the very best of luck at all your future endeavors.
Thank you to all the viewers, and thank you to you. Thank you.
And in the end, I'd like to say, we are at the forefront of bringing in robotic lifestyle as a routine life. And on that note, many thanks for watching. Don't forget to share your feedback on the given email ID. Namaskar.